哎，算了，恭喜他夺冠吧。
一把，我靠！
打不过啊，他最后这手感染虫太凶了。最近半年 ZVP 56-3给自己点一个赞，冠军。
I don't think Cyril has any chance to save this one, but he continues.
He gets killed coming back, and Bunny just doesn't seem to have the numbers.
Didn't even notice the Liberator in the main base, I think. So many probes are going down right now.
Oh my god, they're trying to get back, but they can't, and so many are picked up. A big clump here from Kiri. Tries to split everything up. Giant force of Felix rolling in. That's massive.
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day of the Masters Coliseum 8 Group Stage, Group B. I'm, of course, just VIP with you and joined by these amazing players, by the people in the chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome, one and all, once again to another week of Masters Coliseum. Whew, it's been a pretty intense weekend. It's been an intense weekend. Yesterday, I think we clocked in 15 hours of casting. I think it was like 15 hours of casting. In total, it was like a 17 or 18 hour session, but that was like a 2 or 3 hour break. So 15 hours of casting, 17, 18 hours of live. That's crazy. It was crazy. And we are here to keep it going. Once again, we're here. We are live. Tonight, we have 2 broadcasts. We have Masters Coliseum, and later on in the evening, we have the Firegrow Cup Group B. So back-to-back broadcasts. And here we have our first wave of players. Here in Group B of Masters Coliseum, we have 4 amazing players. And of course, this is a round-robin group stage. We have MaxPax, we have Skillous, we have Reynor, and we have Rogue. Oh boy, we have 2 Protosses and 2 Zerg players. No Terran, not in this group, not this time. We're here to embrace the PvZs. And oh my god, Skillous, you took away Geralt's mustache. Oh my god. Here we go. We have our first match. We have our PvP. Likewise, shout out to MaxPax as well. Also looking cleanly shaven here. Did look quite clean coming into the booth, coming into camera. Love to see it. As we have a PvP, we have our picks, we have our bans, we have our first game. Game 1 is going to be on Neon Violet Square, followed by King's Cove and Ley Lines as well. Some larger maps to start things off. Interesting, and I'm curious if we will be embracing some more economic openers. We'll see how we will indulge in this PvP. Again, shout out to Nikita rocking up there. Likewise, MaxPax as well. Again, this is a round-robin group stage. Tonight we have 3 matches, and tomorrow we'll have the remaining 3 matches as well, wrapping up the entirety of Group B. And here we go. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the Danish Protoss MaxPax for Sidestorm Gaming. And in the top left, we have a Team Liquid. It is Skillous. Whew. And you know what time it is. You know what time it is, Papi. If you're in the chat, it is Gamba time. Predictions will soon be open. You can soon place your bets in the chat. Bam! I believe. There we go. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will play in the series as we do indulge in this lovely and beautiful PvP. Ooh, here we go. So dive in. Likewise, we're loading into Neo Violet Square, which means we should be seeing some economic openers. The reason for this is because how defensive the natural is. You can see here MaxPax going for the low ground gate into Cybercore. Skillous, meanwhile, gonna be opening up with a gateway on the high ground instead. Interesting. With that high ground gateway, we'll see if Skillous does go for a 2-gate opener. If he goes for a 2-gate opener, which he does, second gateway gets thrown down. If Skillous moves out with a probe, Skillous can set up for a 1-base all-in. Alas, the map is quite large. It's quite massive. It takes a long time to get across the map, but I do see a probe moving and skirting around the edge of the map towards the left-hand side. So Skillous, it looks like he does plan on going for a proxy. This might just be a proxy pylon into a proxy Stargate into an economic opener just to harass across the map. This could be a fake proxy pylon as well, just to expand back at home. So we'll keep an eye on Skillous. You can see there the pylon has been placed. It's towards the bottom left-hand corner of the map. There it is. Observer does show it off. The probe sticks around. This position is actually prime for a proxy Stargate. So I would imagine proxy Stargate opener into an expand, into a macro game. I would imagine Skillous is not going for the all-in. Here we go. Not going for the all-in. Meanwhile, there it is, a proxy Stargate at a Skillous, as we did assume. Again, is a prime location for it. Meanwhile, MaxPax is going for a gateway into Cybercore into expand. Economic opener here at a MaxPax. MaxPax did cut some corners. He did choose to expand before teching into the Stargate. Typically, MaxPax wouldn't make that decision, but here on Neon Violet Square, he does feel confident enough to cut some corners and to be a little bit more greedy. So slightly more greed here at a MaxPax is going to be settling in. We'll take an economic advantage, economic lead. It's going to be on Skillous to try to recover, to try to catch up in that economy. As Skillous will soon expand, and will soon move out with the Oracle. The probe has yet to confirm, has yet to scout what's going on. MaxPax has missed the scouts, and there it is, Oracle is on the way. Oracle is going to be zooming here towards the main base. Likewise, Robo open at a MaxPax, and this is tech of choice, going for the Robo, not the Stargate or the Twilight Council. Robo will allow for immortal production, is going to allow for a more defensive start here from the side of MaxPax. So he's going to be the defender, and Skillous is going to be the aggressor. Skillous is poking in. We'll get eyes on the ramp, shield battery on the high ground. I mean, MaxPax, he is safe and sound, he is secure. Likewise, MaxPax still trying to get a read on what's going on. He does confirm the expansion. He is aware of the economy. He hasn't scouted the proxy, not yet, but he should be able to piece it together. Should be able to piece it all together here. Oracle dips in. There is a Stalker in position. Still, despite that, only one Stalker, so probes are going down. So far, two workers, almost three. Almost, but not quite. Taking a lot of hits here. 2 probe kills. The Oracle does get away, but Skillous, he was hoping for a little bit more damage. Second Oracle does move out, but now MaxPax is going to be a little more wary, is going to be a little more prepared for the aggression, for the harass. As the Oracle gets 1 more probe at the natural. Second Oracle hits the main. Now there are 2 Stalkers in position. And it's going to get 2 more workers. We'll get the hell out of here. 5 probe kills in total. Not a bad start for Skillous. Thankfully, he does retain and he does preserve those oracles. He can always race back home and set up stasis traps. Always dive in later on with shields to pick off more workers. He still has potential for damage, potential to gain more value out of those oracles. As they do join their forces to pick off a probe. Another worker going down. Behind this, both players taking into their Blink Stalkers, both players macroing on up. MaxPax still maintains a 2-worker lead, so MaxPax still has the greater economy. May have lost 5 workers, but still not enough to recover. Here we go. As you have a skill. I mean, this is a good way to recover economically, right? Skillous is behind. How do you catch back up? You take the gold, baby. Let's go. The gold base is going to be on the way for Skillous. Do love to see it. Hold on. There we go. Do love to see it here. So he's going to be embracing that gold. We'll see if he can get away with it. MaxPax, he will soon scout. Again, we have hallucinations being sent across the map. Skillous preparing here to defend. Stasis traps being thrown down left and right to help secure that third. And MaxPax will soon confirm with the hallucination. Once MaxPax realizes what's going on, it's going to be on MaxPax to try to punish that base. It's going to be on him. See the Phoenix is moving out towards the left-hand side. To move out. Still has yet to check the third base location. Going for the pocket base instead. Skillous is going to be moving out instead, head towards the third. The shield battery is done. Energy overcharge soon to be available as well. Yeah, MaxPax, he will deflect Skillous. Loving the stasis traps being set up behind this. Meanwhile, I believe the hallucination did not check the gold. MaxPax still in the dark. Stalker's moving in. MaxPax taking this seriously, does actually the Guardian Shield. And is building up his immortal count. As a reminder, this was a Robo opener at a MaxPax. So he does have that immortal advantage. Likewise, he's still looking for the third. He's checking. Yeah, at this point, he realizes, like, hold up. Where's the third base? Something is wrong here. Oh, the stasis! Show us the stasis! Oh my god. Jesus. Calm down. But MaxPax, he confirms. He does get eyes on the third base. He's fully aware. He's now aware of the greed of Skillous. As MaxPax is still building up. Skillous going to be reinforcing. Approach the gateway on the way. There's an observer for MaxPax. He's not gonna get caught out. Oh my god, he shouldn't have been caught out. Okay. MaxPax slipping up. And Skillous, he can punish. He can punish him. Going for an extra warp in. These are slow warp ins for Skillous. Stasis soon to run out. Skillous gonna be trying to catch him. And it looks like he should be able to. Oh. Never mind, gonna be forced back. Immortal has arrived. That Immortal doing so much on the back line. Skillous doesn't quite get the Observer. Not quite. Observer does survive. Skillous trying to dive in, going for the Immortal. The Immortal is going to go down, but at a cost. Skillous, he needs more reinforcements. And it looks like barely he does have enough. Skillous forcing back MaxPax. Snipe the Observer. They'll snipe the Observer. Shield battery out of energy as well. Skillous gaining ground. Charge ult soon to arrive. Yeah, charge is done. And Skillous' goal here is to break MaxPax here and now. Can he pull it off? He's pinning MaxPax back. More station rest behind this. Nicely powering of the gateway. Skillous backs up. He needs reinforcements. MaxPax taking a fourth base. And he's going for a counterattack. Also, he does see the shimmer. Nice control. Baits out the stasis. There comes that Zealot run by. And Skillous, he's pretty all in here. He's pretty committed. He's getting a fourth though. But he's hoping to try to break this base. But now there's no Immortal. Another Immortal has arrived. He has to back up. Stasis going off on the Zealots. Likewise, probes going down across the map. Does snipe the Immortal. Nice pickup. Skillous, he brings down the Immortal. Getting on top of the Stalkers. Nice pickups once again. Skillous gaining ground back at home. Losing all the probes though. Yeah, 13, 14 probes going down. 15 even. Those Zealots are wreaking havoc. And Skillous' economy is being crippled. Oracle goes down. The Zealots are still going ham. 16 probe kills. And now Skillous, he is falling behind. There is going to be a window where Skillous has +2, which is going to be great and all, but his supply here is going to be struggling. His army is going to be smaller. It's going to be weaker. Yeah, the Zealot armies did get out of hand. War Prism escapes. And MaxPax is now looking very comfortable. He's up almost 20 workers. He's on 4 bases, has an overwhelming Stalker army. And MaxPax at this one he can overwhelm. Chase Skillous back. Deep having the production. Skillous trying to mass up an army, and again, taking the gold base was a good move. He got away with it. He was able to flex that to be as aggressive as he was, but he had to do more damage there, or at least force MaxPax to spend more weapons defensively. And that's MaxPax to go away without it. The cluster was done for both players. And MaxPax is just coming in from behind, hitting the gold. Deep having the gateways, forcing Skillous back home. Does force him back. Glad MaxPax pulling away. And again, he's using these squares quite well here, just making the engagement a little bit more awkward. Zealot run back towards the northern expansion, and Skillous, he's just losing what little economy he has left. Down to 36 probes, barely an economy. And here it's all or nothing for Skillous. Attacking with the high ground. Trying to dive on in. But Skillous, he is deflected. And he's down to not even a 2-base economy at this point. They're being forced further back. Stalkers are trying to dive in. Again, this is going to be the final push here of Skillous. And even with Immaculate Control, I mean, we have +3 on the way for MaxPax. Still a greater economy, extra warp ins, gets across the map, kills the 4th base as well. And GG gets called. MaxPax, he will take a lead, and he will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG. MaxPax, he will take a lead of the series here. Again, I do like the initial build of choice of Skillous, and for the most part, like the most of the game as well, for Skillous to be able to gain map control, to harass across the map, to get the goal base, and to apply pressure. A lot of it did come down to the fact, though, that the Zealot run by got out of hand. If you remember, it was that one Zealot warp in across the map, which killed 16 probes. 16 workers went down to that one warp in, and if it wasn't for that, Skillous would have been able to maintain his position, would have been able to keep pushing, keep trading, and have a more even back and forth. But that Zealot run by did win MaxPax the game, and with that, MaxPax takes a lead. Does take a lead, and now we're getting ready for game number 2. It's going to be on King's Cove. Another large map, another very large map, another map that we expect a more economic opener to be on. It's not as large as Neon Violet Square. Neon Violet Square is the largest map in the map pool, but King's Cove is not too far behind it when it comes to size for the same opener every time. Every time, just Gate, Cyber, Expand, or him in the water event. Oh, nice, nice. Wasn't aware. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have our Danish Protoss, MaxPax, for Sidestorm. And in the top left, we have for Team Liquid, it is Skillous. Here we go. Here we go, and my eyes are on Skillous as probes are being sent across the map from both players, to be fair. We can see that this time MaxPax is setting up his wall on the high ground, not on low ground, but regardless should just be the same opener out of MaxPax once again. Skillous setting up for what looks to be a more committed proxy. Looks to be a one base all in. Let's go. The pylon has been placed. Now, based on this location, it wouldn't be the worst location for a proxy Stargate, but it's close enough by ground for a proxy robo. We'll see what it's going to be. As the cyber core is going to be placed, and Skillous, we have a choice to make. Do we go for the gateway? Do we go for the robo? Do we go for the Stargate? How committed, how aggressive, how all in is Skillous going to be? We're waiting for that moment. Meanwhile, MaxPax, he goes in for the scout. He confirms that the last the pylon is missing. It is going to be the proxy gateway, so Skillous is going for one base all in. Going for a one base all in. I'd imagine gateway into robo. And we'll see if he can break MaxPax. Meanwhile, MaxPax back at home, gate into Cybercore, into Stargate before expansion. At least he should be, this time, not skipping his tech. Yeah, there it is. Stargate is on the way, and there's that robo that we mentioned from Skillous. With the robo, of course, he can get into immortal production, he can get into his warp prism to micro to have that micro ability, that control over his opponent. You can see MaxPax is scouting with that Zealot. He checks the third, and he will not check the southern fourth base. He's moving out. Alas, MaxPax, he will miss the proxy for now. Probe Scout coming in. Skillous is going to be shut down. But he does confirm the opener. Skillous is aware. There's the expansion for MaxPax. And it will come down to the execution, of the control, the build, to the micro of our players. MaxPax opening up Oracle, then followed by a Void Ray. Now with this Oracle opener, he should be forcing defensive warp-ins out of Skillous as well, back at home. And here comes that Prism first. Warp Prism is on the way. Stalkers a poke in. MaxPax now is aware. Shield Battery is done. Void Ray's in production. MaxPax, he does confirm the proxy. Does find it. Shield Battery in the main. Void Ray is about to pop out. Oracle moves out across the map. I don't know if there's a Shield Battery back at home for Skillous. If there's not, I'm a little bit concerned. But Skillous needs that defensive setup. Stalkers 8 dive into the main. They at least try to. Nice, force back. There we go. 2 Stalkers in the main base. Probes are going to go down. I started stepping here out of Skillous, but still 2 worker kills. Skillous rotating over. Trying to catch MaxPax out of position. Going for the Void Ray. Void Ray takes some hits. Nice control here out of Skillous. Stalkers are getting low. Oh my god. Whew. So far, Skillous hasn't lost anything. Nice control. Hasn't lost anything yet. Oh my god. And it all comes down to that unit control here. Meanwhile, across the maps, MaxPax does get one more worker kill. Skillous diving in. Prismatic alignment, I believe, is on cooldown. But now there's 2 Void Rays. Shield Battery gets depowered. Nice pickups. So far, Skillous, I believe, hasn't lost a Stalker yet. Controlling well. Depowers another Stargate. Getting on top of the expansion. The bare minimum that he wants is to kill the natural. Then he can expand himself. Oh. Flush Force Field. Buying time. Still 2 Shield Buyers on low ground. Going for the Void Ray. Doesn't quite get it. Once again, the Skill's not losing anything. It's 5 probes. It's 5 workers reinforcing. Skillous, he's supply blocked. Is supply blocked. That does slow down his war pins. Likewise, MaxPax supply blocked as well. We'll lose the Nexus. Oh, that's actually a heavy supply block for MaxPax. They're losing another pylon as well. And soon to be another. And MaxPax, he can't reinforce. Oh my god. Skillous, I believe, I could be mistaken, I think Skillous hasn't lost a single Stalker. I may have missed it. He's crazy. Takes down the pylons. Moving forward, going for the gateway. Gateway's gonna go down. Yeah, there's no saving it. Getting the finesse here from Skillous. Pushing in, going for the Cybercore. Doesn't overextend, playing it very carefully. Is within range, Cybercore goes down. No more Stalkers. MaxPax, this entire time, he's been supply blocked for like 2 minutes. This entire time. Finally, MaxPax, he breaks out. Finally, he can start to warp in, but he just lost the gateway. And he can't warp in Stalkers. He has to rebuild that Cybercore. Robo's on the way. He's got his 3rd Void Ray down in production. But again, this 3rd Void Ray for MaxPax is heavily delayed. The supply block was brutal. But I feel like Skillous needs to keep pushing. Like, he's backing off for now. He's working towards Blink. But if he gives MaxPax too much time, I mean, he's dangerous, man. Void is moving out. MaxPax is looking to depower that proxy, which also means that he's vulnerable back at home. Army dives in, snipes the sentry. Sentry goes down. Skillous dives in. Void Rays, they do depower the Robo, and they recall back home. They go for the recall. Also, that depowers 2 of the gateways as well. Void Rays under fire. Finally, Stalker's going to be going down. Skillous is committing. Pushing into Void Rays and 2 Immortals. And Stalkers are getting picked off one after the other. Prison has to fall back. There's 1 Immortal left. He gets it. He gets the Immortal. He breaks on through, and Skillous, he has done it. GG gets called. And Skillous, he does tie up the series 1-1. Whew. GG. Let's go. GG, well played. Of course, Skillous, MaxPax is going to be more vulnerable here when it comes to these greedy builds. So, Skillous has the option to go for an all-in. And in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the Danish Protoss, MaxPax. In the top right, we have for Team Liquid, Skillous. Whew. Here we go. And shout out to the sponsors, of course. Shout out to Doyu, Pew Pew, SC Boy, and of course, Dragon Ball. Big shout out to the sponsors for making this event a reality. For bringing all these amazing players together. It's amazing. It's beautiful. Here we go. As once again, both players, they send out their workers. And as I mentioned before, Skillous, he does have the option to commit into that proxy. And again, just really crisp control out of Skillous. He didn't lose a single Stalker until the very end of that game. Likewise, because of his control, because of his pickups, he heavily supplied block MaxPax. He was able to kill like 3 pylons, the Nexus, the gateways as well, the Cybercore. The pickups were insane, and MaxPax just could not sustain himself. And there it is, there's a proxy. Now, this is a very similar proxy location to the last game, where it is a prime location for a proxy Stargate, but also because it's close by ground, this does look like a proxy Robo here. Does seem like a Robo. I see Cat in the chat. I don't understand it. They're sponsored by Dragon Ball. For those who don't know, I don't know if you notice I don't know if you notice MaxPax. He's surrounded by Dragon Balls. The name of the tournament is Coliseum. If you're familiar with Dragon Ball, you should be familiar with the Tenkaichi Budokai, which is the world tournament. In Chinese, I believe Kuro is going to be explaining it anyway. But in Chinese, the translation for the Chinese version is called Coliseum. Like, that's the name of the world tournament in the Chinese dub. So that's a reference. That's why there's Dragon Balls all around MaxPax, and that's why the logo is also kind of like characterized with the Dragon Ball font. But here we go. We do have the proxy once again, but this time a much earlier scout from MaxPax. This time he does scout earlier on. Does scout, does confirm. Likewise, this time Stargate's on the way for the Void Ray production, and we'll see if MaxPax can this time tighten up his defense. As a reminder, I believe this is the exact same proxy, the exact same build 2 games in a row from Skillous. So let's see if he can pull it off again. Let's see if MaxPax in that brief time has been able to come up with a better response. Will be able to tighten up his defenses, preserve his pylons, build up backup pylons. I mean, Void Ray first, actually. Void Ray first, not an Oracle. Okay, already MaxPax, he's respecting this quite a bit more. As a result, usually he does open up Oracle to force in defensive warp-ins. This time, Void Ray first means that he's going to have that much more to defend early on. So a much more stricter response here from MaxPax. Skillous, he does reinforce. Prism has arrived. Pushing in. So far, ideally, Skillous, he wants to fight this out of range of the shield battery. Second shield battery's on the way. Ooh, Skillous, he did warp in defensively. That means 2 less Stalkers to attack. Yeah, so less than ideal here for Skillous. Again, the defensive warp in was to get ready for the Oracle that never came. And now there's 2 Void Rays already. Yeah, now MaxPax is up to 2 Void Rays. Again, just a much stronger defense this time for MaxPax. He's got 3 shield batteries. Up! Oh my god, almost does get a Stalker. He gets very low. Skillous hasn't lost anything yet, but this time he has sustained a lot more damage. A lot more hull damage on these Stalkers. Likewise, Skillous going for the dive. Dives in, takes down the sentries. Going for the Stalkers as well. 1 Stalker goes down. 2 Stalkers. Skillous isn't losing too much. He does get 1 Void Ray. Does he have enough to break through? Second Void Ray does arrive. Skillous, he has to retreat. Yeah, he wasn't able to break through. Didn't quite snowball the way that he wanted to. He does preserve a lot of Stalkers, but look at how low they are. Still poking in. Nice control. Nice control so far. Pushing forward. Another Stalker goes down. Bit of miscontrol by Skillous. Aye, aye, aye. And again, every Stalker counts. Going for that Void Ray. Boys are being pulled. Another Stalker going down. Prism out of position. Is going for the dive. Yeah, started stepping forward. Another Stalker falling. Does get 1 of the Void Rays, but there's still 2 left. Yeah, there's still 2 left. MaxPax, he's holding. He's going to be able to hold on. He shuts down the all-in. And Skillous, he's running out of steam. He's running out of steam here. The longer this goes on, the better it is for MaxPax. Again, because of the earlier scout, MaxPax, he did have a much stronger or just a much stronger response with the extra Void Rays. And Skillous hasn't really been gaining ground. Goes for another warp in. Gets a sentry, not bad. Gets a sentry, gets 2 workers. Still has a pretty devastating amount of Stalkers. Once again, oh my god. Skillous, he saves a handful of Stalkers, but not too many. Yeah, once again, too many of them go down. The force fields are brutal. And now MaxPax is just building up towards a 3rd, towards a 4th Void Ray as well. He's reaching critical mass of Void Ray. He's still mining from his natural. Ooh, as he does not quite get another Void Ray. Yeah, not this time. The punish is that much more brutal. Skillous running out of steam when it comes to his rally as well. His reinforcements. Trying to dive in. The base is getting very low. And MaxPax does activate most of his prismatic alignments there at once. 3 of them. There is potentially an opening. And again, the Nexus is very low. But eventually bring it down. Oh. Once again, going for the Void Rays. He doesn't quite get them. Does get a volley off. Yeah, and then he goes for the dive. Gets one more Void Ray for the cost of what? 3 Stalkers? Jesus. The prismatic alignment is brutal. As the punish is real. MaxPax just holding the line. Taking down 2 more Stalkers. Skillous, he's expanding back at him. That's a brutal moment here for Skillous. He is expanding. He's recognized he cannot kill MaxPax, but it's going to be a rough road to recover here for Skillous. It's going to be rough. Now, I feel like there is definitely a chance here, especially if MaxPax overextends. Like, with MaxPax, if he moves out of range of the shield batteries, then potentially, here we go, it depths into the main. Skillous, he has a chance. Gets 2 probe kills, is denied entry towards the mineral line. Oh, we'll lose 1 to depth. One to depth goes down. Yeah, and eventually MaxPax is going to hit critical mass. Going for the Oracle to harass across the map. Going for the Robo as well. Skillous trying to get his economy up and running. It's attempting. And with that, Skillous, he breaks out, activates his mag alignment, and he should be able to overwhelm here. I mean, decent control here from Skillous, but yeah, he just doesn't have the numbers. Doesn't have the Stalkers. As MaxPax, he shuts him down. At the same time, Oracle's across the map. GG gets called, and MaxPax, he will take the series 2-1. GG. GG, well played. It was definitely a good effort here by Skillous. It was just very unfortunate that he got scouted, that he was scouted here at the start of the proxy. Winding it back a little bit, again, the reason why MaxPax did go for the Void Ray first is because he was able to confirm the initial proxy 2-gate and the Robo as well. Because MaxPax saw everything, he was able to skip the Oracle, have an earlier Void Ray. If you remember, Skillous also warped in defensively, expecting Oracle harass. The Oracle never came, so likewise, he had less firepower across the map for that much longer, and MaxPax was able to just secure himself much easier here in Game 3. GG. GG, well played. In the end, MaxPax will take it. My condolences to Skillous, but not a bad showing whatsoever, and I wish him the best in the upcoming matches, as now we're getting ready for our next best of 3. Up next is going to be MaxPax versus Reynor. Whew. GG, well played. MaxPax does claim the series, and now we're getting ready for our ZVP. Just catching up. Just catching up. But our players, they need some time. They need some time to set up. Of course, Reynor's going to be setting up his cams, and we're going to be going on a short break. Going to be going on a very short break. When we come back, we'll have our next series. See you soon. Oh. And we are back. We are back. Ooh, and we are ready for our second match of the night. We just wrapped up with MaxPax versus Skillous, and now we are about to jump into MaxPax versus Reynor. Let us go. Again, MaxPax, he is, I think most would say, top 2, if not number 1 Protoss in the world at the moment, especially when it comes to competitive play. You know, Clem has been rising up that ladder, but still I feel a little bit early to determine like kind of Clem's placement amongst the hierarchy of Protoss players out there. And what's important about this tournament, I feel, for someone like MaxPax, is that this is his EWC. This is his IM Katowice. MaxPax, he doesn't travel abroad, he doesn't go to offline events, so when it comes to these big major online events, this is where he can shine. This is where he should thrive. So there's a lot of pressure. For MaxPax to do well here because, again, this is, as I mentioned, this is kind of like his kind of world championship here that he can focus on a more seasonal basis. And we'll see how he compares to some of these other players. Like, he's a very strong player, don't get me wrong, but everyone has the weakest matchup. And I do think that it is unfortunate that MaxPax ended up in a group full of Zerg players. I do think that's a little bit unfortunate. MaxPax, he has the best PvP in the world. He has some of the best PvT in the world, and his PvZ is, I would say, a little bit more, a little bit below his other matchups. I would actually rate Hero's PvZ higher than MaxPax's currently. And we're kind of seeing that here as well, where MaxPax did take down Reynor 3-1 recently. Before that, Reynor took the series, then Reynor again, then they had a tied up 1-1 score. I believe that may have been in WTL, but historically, Reynor has had the edge over MaxPax. But we'll see. Again, at the end of the day, new map pool, a new patch as well. We'll see who's been able to acclimate faster and harder to that new setting. So we'll see how this does go. I mean, personally, regardless of how this goes, I would love to see an ace match, right? I would love to see a game 3. I'd love to see a back and forth between Reynor and MaxPax. Likewise, I know that Reynor, he is not the most satisfied with his performance at Home Story Cup. If you recall, at Home Story Cup, Reynor, he was feeling under the weather. He was not feeling himself. He was feeling definitely yeah, unfortunately not quite at 100%, and that was reflected in his results. We'll see if Reynor can make up for that here at Massive Coliseum. Let's go. Let us go. As the players are getting ready. I'm making picarones later today. Let's go. Exciting, Pap, exciting. I'll be honest, I've never made picarones myself. Never made them myself, but I'm very fond of them. Very fond of them. Beautiful, beautiful. Wish you the best. Wish you the best with them. Wish you the best. My grandmother would often make picarones with the miel as well. It's beautiful, beautiful. I'm celoso, papi. I'm celoso. As we are settling in, looks like our players are conducting the vetoes. I may have also just gone live a little bit too soon. Looks like our players are still setting up. They're still getting ready. As a reminder, of course, you know, they have to set up their cameras. They have to join the Zoom call as well. MaxPax has to get his hair ready for the cam. It's understandable. It's understandable. They need time. Didn't make it from scratch. Oh, I see. I see. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. By the packages. Oh, I see. I see. I see. No. We make it from scratch, Pat. We make it from scratch. Make it, Pat. Players are gearing up. As a reminder as well, we only have 3 best of 3s here tonight, so these are best of 3s, not best of 5s. After this initial ZVP, we will have Rogue versus Skillous as well. So Skillous, he has some time to rest, to recover, to recuperate, hopefully take a moment after that previous series, and now focus and think on his upcoming match instead against Rogue. So best of luck to Skillous, as we'll be seeing him again later on tonight. Likewise, Rogue can rest up for these initial matches. We'll be seeing more of Rogue tomorrow when it comes to day number 2 of Group B, with those remaining matches instead. You know what? Let's look at the stats. Let's have a look at some of the stats here. Hold on. We have the technology, and we have time as well. Clearly, and hopefully we have our players as well. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Reynor is awake. I want to see what their head-to-head... Have they faced off many times this year? That's what I'm most curious about. Alright, head-to-head here between MaxPax and... Oh my god. No shot. I did not know this. So Reynor has, I want to say, a 63 to 64% win rate against MaxPax this season. Again, like, has the winning record against us playing Terran against Protoss. Let's go. As we're jumping into our series and spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have MaxPax for Sizerm Gaming. And in the bottom left, we have Reynor for Basilisk. And if you're in the chats, it is time. It is time to get your gambler going. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck. Best of luck in the chat as we settle into our ZVP. Here we go. As we are going to be settling in. Now, despite the historic record between these two players, I haven't seen MaxPax and Reynor, I haven't seen them face off in the most recent patch. A big reason for this is that Reynor has been MIA. Reynor, he has been missing in action and did take some time off post EWC. Just checking, and yes, the last time they played was back in August, outside of the most recent Big Brain bouts. Which was still actually on the previous map pool, or it was during the PTR. During the PTR is when they did a last play, and MaxPax did take it, but that was also during the PTR as well. So we'll see how things have changed, if anything at all. So here we are going to be settling in. Going to be settling in here. You have a standard opener, hatch gas spool out of Reynor. Likewise, MaxPax going for a gate expand into Cybercore. Standard openers all around. Again, neither MaxPax or Reynor are really one to really divert too often or really spice things up too much in the early game. Really, it's all about the mid game. It's about the mid game aggression. We'll see if MaxPax does go for some hidden tech. We have seen him quite often embrace going into like an earlier Twilight Council into Glaives after the Stargate opener, or even going for an 8-gate 3-base all-ins. Likewise, Reynor has also, we've also seen him embrace going for something like German taxis, maxing out on 3 bases or going for a 3-base aggression as well with Lingbane Hydra. So we'll keep an eye on their saturation and on their tech. Speaking of tech, there it is. It is going to be a Stargate opener at a MaxPax. Stargate to begin. With the Stargate opener, most likely into Oracle. We'll see if he goes for a Void Ray. We have seen MaxPax on specific maps go for something like a Skytoss Rush or Tempest Rushes. We've seen that on El Dorado, but it is very map specific, and we should not be seeing that here on ley lines. Should not be seeing that. As MaxPax does pylon block, he does force the linear third base out of Reynor. As the third is being taken. MaxPax does delay the expansion. Likewise, MaxPax opening this up with a Stalker follow-up as well. Very nice. With this, he's going to be able to deny the scout, keep Reynor in the dark, and keep his follow-up hidden. Does keep it hidden. As MaxPax poking in, really designed to scout more than anything, getting eyes on the gases, getting eyes on the saturation. Doesn't get any kills, and we'll pull back. Likewise, Oracle on the way. There's a second Oracle, so triple Oracle into a third. MaxPax gearing up towards the mid game, and we're still keeping an eye on the follow-up tech. So we'll see a Twilight Council, Robo, Forge. As saw MaxPax. Meanwhile, that's going to be an early Evo Chamber out of Reynor. Now, with this Evo Chamber first, this screams +1 melee, and it screams Ling Hydra. As you would not really get an earlier Evo Chamber for +1 range for Roach Play. So this looks like Ling Hydra out of Reynor. Meanwhile, MaxPax, he gets plenty of progression on the expansion, which means he's going to be going for the Forge. Oh my god, as he does get a kill! That should not have happened there. So, nice pickup. Takes down the Spore. Queen's not quite in position. Oracle into the main. As he mentioned, again, early Evo Chamber screams +1 melee, and that's what we're getting. +1 melee into Ling Hydra. Meanwhile, because of the progression of the third base, MaxPax is going into a Forge, into a Twilight Council. This does look like +1 Blink Stalkers, and I do favor Reynor given this setup, as MaxPax is going into his more standard Blink Stalker mid-game, and that was 2 Spore kills. Jesus! More than I assumed. I thought there was a cancel there, but no, yeah, 2 Spores going down. That is brutal. Especially at this level of play. Here comes the 5 adept move out, 5 adepts, 2 oracles. The queens are trying to keep up, Lings are amassing. We'll see if Reynor can protect that mineral line. So far, so good. Yeah, Lings, they hit the third. And MaxPax not quite ready for this. He may have killed 2 Spores across the map, but that's going to be 6 probe kills. Oh my god. 6 workers going down. The Oracles, they recall back home. Recall's now on cooldown. The Adepts, they made it back home as well. Reynor very satisfied with that damage. Very nicely done. From here, Reynor, he can now saturate his bases. He can take up. Lair is on the way. And again, that lair should be for Hydras. Technically, Reynor could go into Mutaplay, but even with Mutaplay, you'd often see a Roach Warren as well, just to be safe. So just waiting for that takeoff choice for Reynor. And we're waiting to see how much tech he throws down as well. And there it is. It is going to be the much, much faster Infestation Pit. Okay, so very greedy here by Reynor. I assumed he was going to be going Ling Hydra. With that faster Infestation Pit, that means faster Hive Tech as well. I'm still expecting a Hydra Den here from Reynor, but for now, he might even just go Ling into Ultra, which is a little more old school. We would often see that a couple of seasons ago, especially on Ancient Cistern, on some of these larger maps when you have more breathing room. But this is a really risky style to go for. Dark would often embrace this. The army has arrived. The Lings are amassing. Yep, Hive is on the way. This screams Ultra. And again, I haven't really seen this in quite some time. It's been a couple of months since I've seen a Zerg player rush into Ultra in this matchup. And again, I'm pretty sure last time I saw this was Dark. Well, actually, I think I may have seen Shin do this recently in during the PTR. Yeah, during the PTR. Stalker's being chased down. Okay, there it is. Hydrogen now on the way. But I would imagine that Reynor, he's in the Hydrogen mainly just for the Hive, just for the Lurker Den specifically. Yep, there it is. There's Lurker Den. So Reynor, he's not rushing into Ultras, he's rushing into Lurkers instead. The other one. So he's heavily reliant here on these Lings to gain map control, to keep the Protoss army pinned back at home. It's really the same kind of setup here that you would do if you were to rush into Ultras, where you need mass Ling for map control to give you time, to give you breathing room to tech up. Meanwhile, Drop Lord's going to be coming in. Let's go the slow Drop Lords towards the natural. Let's go. Stalker's breaking in. Station traps, they attempt to bait it out, but alas, unable to. I sit up there for MaxPax. Stasis is baited. There's one more stasis. Reynor, he does notice. A drop coming into the natural. Colossus production has begun. And Reynor, he breaks out. Does break out, does attempt to surround. Forced back by the Oracles. Lings to get 3 more probe kills here at the natural, busting into the main. And here come the Hydras. Okay, the Hydras are lacking upgrades because of that faster Lurker Den. And it's all about rushing to Lurkers. We'll see if we can get there. As Reynor needs a little bit more time to allow those upgrades to finish. There it is, 6 Lurkers on the way. I believe the goal here is Reynor to morph every Hydra into a Lurker. Is building up. 30 more Lings in production. Oh. Be careful, SC boy. We are pushing in. Lings out of the Colossus. The Colossus gets caught out. Massive pickup. Ay, ay, ay. Should not have been out there. Not like this. Oh, as Lings, they will overwhelm this army. They lock it down. The Lurkers, they do burrow. They keep waddling in. There are some stage rats behind this, but these are just brutal losses here. MaxPax going to be losing everything. The Stalkers, the Zealots, everything does crumble. MaxPax pinned back towards the expansion. Lurkers pushing forward. At the same time, we do have a counterattack towards the south. And MaxPax is getting some damage. But he will lose the base. He will lose the expansion. GG gets called as Reynor overwhelms. And Reynor takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Again, Reynor did opt to go for a very greedy style. As a reminder, Reynor with Terran. True. And here we go. Spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have MaxPax for Psystorm. And in the top left, we have for Basilisk, Reynor. Not even starting Hydra upgrades, so it's going Ling Lurker. Yes, as we mentioned, the tell wasn't the lack of Hydra upgrades, the tell was the Infestation Pit. The fast Infestation Pit was the tell that it was Ling Lurker, as we did mention. It is also why we assumed initially, if you remember, that it was going to be Ling Ultra, as it was rushing into the Hive, but did go Ling Lurker instead. Here we go, we're now getting into game number 2. And we are settling in. Reynor going for his 15-15. Very safe opener here out of Reynor. Does allow him to get his expansion on location. The downside of this opener is that your gases are going to be a little bit later. If MaxPax were to realize the opener of Reynor and were to realize the gases are going to be significantly later than normal, then MaxPax can be more aggressive early on with Adepts. If you remember last game, MaxPax, he opened Adept into Stalker. Here, if he realizes he can go Adept into Adept, he can be more aggressive and more assertive with them, just because the Ling counterattack to deny and punish the third is going to be heavily delayed. I say heavily delayed, still no gases. So this is now a gasless opener by Reynor. And this is quite risky in this matchup, not gonna lie. This is a much more common opener against Terran, and even against Zerg as well. Against Protoss, this is a more niche build from the side of Reynor, just because without Ling speed, it can be more difficult to keep up with Adept Harass. So, bold move. Bold move. We'll see if MaxPax does recognize and does attempt to punish this. For now, it's settling in. Just gate expanded to Cybercore. MaxPax has not been doing so hot this patch, or am I wrong? I would say you are wrong. If you watch the online weeklies, you would see that MaxPax, I mean, he has been doing very well. He's doing very well here this patch, doing well in open tournaments and open cups. I mean, there's a reason why MaxPax made it to this event as well. So I would suggest watching more StarCraft. We have seen, I mean, again, I was going over the stats previously. This year, Reynor has a 90% win rate against MaxPax in series score. Like, Reynor is heavily favored here. So, unless you want to say at the start of the year, MaxPax was still adapting to the patch, Copium. You can say that, I guess. As MaxPax does get across the map. Gonna be dipping in. Our last step's gonna be shut down. Behind this, going for a Stargate opener into Oracle. I would say that right now, MaxPax, his strongest matchup is, I think I would stand by saying PvT. Like, MaxPax has been looking really competitive with Clem. Going over the online weeklies, we always bring up the fact that after Clem won EWC, he was in a very dominant form, and even looking dominant against MaxPax as well, where Clem, they used to go back and forth, and Clem was winning more often than not. It was pretty insane just how strong Clem was looking. But in the weeks after EWC and coming into the PTR, MaxPax has been looking more and more competitive with Clem again. So CranKy did like spike up for a time around EWC, then the new patch hit, and then MaxPax is catching up again. So now it's like more even between MaxPax and Clem, which is really cool to see. It's really competitive. But I mean, to coincide with that, I would still stand by saying that MaxPax's best matchup. It's hard to say, because I would say that MaxPax is like, he has the best PvP in the world. You could probably argue that he has the best PvT in the world as well. You could probably make that argument. It's like Hero has a very different style of PvT. But MaxPax is still very good, very strong, very strong. As he's going to be moving out with his adepts, we can already see here Reynor is going for a different, for a very different follow-up. This time +1 melee. That is true, but he does have a safety Roach Warren. Safety Roach Warren here out of Reynor. Ideally, he would like to skip Roach production, but we'll see if he's forced to make any. MaxPax dipping in. We'll thread in the shade. The Hero versus Gear series yesterday was beautiful. That was crazy. but if you remember, like, it was beautiful, but that series was also very Hero, right? Where Hero, he fell pretty far like Hero was almost dead, right? He fell behind, but it was like Hero's sheer army control and map awareness that like carried him in that game, right? Like he got so much efficiency, so much value. It was like counterattacking, multitasking, like that. Like that's where Hero thrives, right? Like that's his strength. Ooh, speaking of strengths, Reynor, I was curious where the gas was going to be spent. As we mentioned, the Roach Warren was just for safety. Ideally, he wants to skip and just delay any kind of Roach production, and this time into Muta play. So there's going to be Ling into Mutas, so far unscattered. So far unscattered. It's on MaxPax here to figure out what's going on. Is going to be reinforcing quite heavily here, going for an earlier Archon push. Oh my god. And Reynor, he's not ready for this. Roach production has begun. Remember, Reynor, he was intentionally skipping Roaches for the Mutas. And MaxPax, he's going for the kill. He's going for the kill here and now. +1 attack is about to finish up just in time for this push. And Reynor, he's not ready for this. Lings to get across the map. The Roaches are just now popping out. Reynor in a bit of trouble. Nice force fields. The base is going to be forfeit. As MaxPax collapses in on the 4th. Reynor coming in from behind. Getting on top of the Archons. Getting on top of the Prism. Oh my god. Prism takes a look. Oh no, Prism! Oh my god. Does escape. Whew, just barely. Prism gets the hell out of there. MaxPax pulls away. Did kill the expansion, but across the map, Lings, they do wreak havoc. And delaying reinforcements, forcing a defensive warp in. Reynor holds. Whew. Reynor does hold. Now, what I'm most concerned by here, first things first, no blink. It was charge. It was a charge-based opener, not blink stalker. Likewise, the Mutas were not scattered. The Spire was not seen. That attack was successful for MaxPax in the sense that he killed the 4th, but he did not scat the tech. He doesn't know what's happening. MaxPax, he does not know what's happening. Mutas are on the way. And MaxPax does have Storm on the way. He has Archons at least as well, but he doesn't know he has to be in position. Doesn't know what to be ready for. Lings, they do hit the 4th. They force a cancel. Ideally just keeping the Archons busy. And the Mutas, they've hit the field. I believe 7. I believe there's 7 Mutas. That is enough to one-shot workers. Even hunt down the Prism. And you can see Reynor, he's skirting around the right-hand side. He gets scouted. Reynor gets scouted. Cannons. Immediately, cannons are on the way for MaxPax. Blink begins as well. Warping in defensive Blink Stalkers or Vanilla Stalkers. MaxPax trying to prepare. But again, this is a late reaction from MaxPax. Or late scout even, I should say. And Storm isn't done yet. 5 seconds away. Once again, the 4th base is going to be denied. Reynor, he busts into the main. And we're getting 11 probe kills. Lead out one of the Mutas. Storm is done. Storm is now done. Starting back the Roaches. But this should be the win condition for Reynor. What he's doing more than anything here outside of just getting workers and getting 12 probe kills is containing. He's denying the 4th base. This is the big problem, or the biggest obstacle. One of the biggest obstacles on King's Cove is that you are very secure on 3 bases, but the fourth is exposed. I mean, we saw Reynor lose his fourth earlier. Likewise, MaxPax continues to lose his fourth as well. Whoever has map control has that advantage of denying and securing the fourth base of their opponent. As MaxPax, he's stuck on 3 bases. So he's going to be contained. Reynor's maxed. Reynor's maxed out. He got away with his mutas, and now he's transitioning into Hydra Lurker. Again, the mutas were only a stepping stone. And once again, Reynor, he dives in. Nice stasis. Stasis pops off. Reynor, despite that, still forces another cancel. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, brutal cancel here. This Reynor is trying to come in from behind. Lings, likewise, they threaten to dive. MaxPax, so far, he's holding on. Now, what I will say, the soup does lie. The soup does lie. Reynor, he is maxed, but he doesn't really have an ideal army. He's maxed with Ling Roach, and he wants to trade. He wants to throw away some supply for Hydra Lurker production. As they hit the third. You can see the Roach army pushing in. As Reynor, he's looking for an opening. Dancing with the Phoenixes. He gets 1, he gets 2. And Reynor is throwing away his mutas. Yeah, he's just going to throw them away. Gets 10 probe kills. And as he bleeds out mutas, he's replacing them with Hydras. Lurker upgrades now on the way. There's the first 5 Lurkers. And he's still very Roach heavy. And MaxPax, he's refining his army as well, taking up in towards Sky Toss. So Fleet Beacon into Mothership. Reynor's looking quite comfortable back at home. Focusing on those upgrades, building up more Lurkers. As they do keep harassing, getting another 3 workers. And just keeping MaxPax back. Oh, nice. Warping into the main. Because Reynor's maxed out, he has to race back home. Uh-oh. Has to race back. Tempest production has begun for MaxPax. The Prism goes down. Now, what I will say about this setup, even though there's Sky Toss on the way, Reynor has a big power spike with these Lurkers. And the goal here for Reynor is once again deny the 4th. Try to break this 4th location. Trade with the army before MaxPax gets into Sky Toss. Lurkers, they are pushing in. Reynor slowly pushing forward. Once again, getting within range of the expansion. Tempests are coming out though. Again, MaxPax needs just a little bit more time. Building on more Tempests. Lurkers pushing in. The base is going to fall, and again, this is all that Reynor wanted. He denies the 4th. Denies the 4th expansion. And again, that's all he has to do. Just poke in, rotate, deny the 4th, back off, rotate again. Just make sure MaxPax doesn't get a comfortable economy. Temps are building up. Now, as MaxPax is getting into Tempest, Reynor, he's aware. Remember, he scouted. He scouted the Tempest. He's aware of them. We should see a Spire. We should be seeing a Spire out of Reynor. I'm a little bit concerned that we're not. Like, Reynor has the bank for it. He can't afford it. But now Pokein takes a storm to the face. Storm's going to be popping off. Roach is pushing in. And Reynor, he does get a good concave here on the expansion. Boy's being pulled away. MaxPax, he knows he cannot save this base. And once again, Reynor, he rotates and denies the fourth. As the Nexus is going to go down. That's all that Reynor has to do. Ideally, throw away these roaches. Again, I'm still concerned about the lack of Spire, because even though MaxPax is being denied an economy, even though MaxPax is getting desperate, MaxPax is still building up a high Tempest count. Still building up a very, very threatening Tempest count. Stay with us, SC boy. And Reynor, he's going to respond with Infestors. I mean, Microbial Shroud is a little bit better than it used to be, true. But so that's, I guess, kind of an option, kind of. I'm a little bit uneasy about this. Again, considering the bank that Reynor has, Pappy, we can afford some Spires. We can afford them. Just saying, but okay. Okay. As Reynor, he's going for double Nidus. Double Nidus on the way. Nice Reynor trying to find a way in. Runs into the Tempest. Decent fungal, slowing down the army. Double Nidus into the main. Last MaxPax does notice. He's going to shut this down. And I'm concerned that maybe Reynor's being a little bit too stubborn. I do think that if MaxPax pushes onto creep, that Reynor can surround. Speaking of, does go for the lunge. Nice fungal here, and 1, 2, 3 Tempest going to be going down. Does he get all 3? He does. Very nice catch. Whew. And again, that is what Reynor's hoping for, because MaxPax did overextend onto creep. That should not have happened. Hoping to capitalize on some of those mistakes, or some of those overextensions. But I feel like this is still a really risky playstyle at a Reynor. not gonna lie. He's like, but if he pushes onto creep, I can surround him. I can collapse on him. It's like, yeah, but what if he doesn't though? Like, what if he doesn't push in? As lurkers are getting caught out. Now what is that for? 5 lurkers going to be falling. Nidus as well. This army is trapped. Reynor's trying to come in from behind. Trying to collapse on the army. Getting on top of the High Templar. Mass around. The High Templar go down. Massive pickups. 1 High Templar survives. It was an expensive setup there from Reynor, but he pulled it off. Didn't quite get the Tempest though. Does launch in. Storm is ready. That was a very expensive trade here from Reynor. And now we just see MaxPax now reinforcing with carriers. And at what point does Reynor, is he forced to respond with a Spire? No shot. I'm still very uneasy about it. Maybe I should have more faith. Maybe I'm like, you know what? Against Sky, it's fine. Just keep making more lunkers, but you'll be fine. True. I mean, unironically, Reynor will be fine if one of these Nidus Storms gets up and running. Like, the kill move is if a Nidus Storm gets into the main, then the lurkers, they can just camp the production, and he can just pull MaxPax apart. But the problem is, now that MaxPax has a decent Skytoss army, he has a 4th. Not just a 4th, MaxPax double expands. He finally got his 4th base, and now he has a 5th base up and running. So, that like, the entire mid-game here, where Reynor, he was fighting for map control and containing and starving MaxPax out, that isn't the case anymore. Now MaxPax, he's maxed. He's maxed, he can sustain himself, he's on 5 bases, his economy is perfectly fine, and now this is where I start worrying for Reynor. Reynor has had control of the game for the most part, but that is slipping away. That is slipping away. Goes to the lunge, he will get 1 carrier. And 1 carrier goes down. The Tempests are exposed, but Storm's going to be coming in. They annihilate the Hydras, and Reynor, he plummets in supply. And do we finally throw down the spy? No. The answer is no. We're going into 6 Ultras, Bappy. Aye. Okay. Let's go. I mean, Ultras, they have their place, definitely. They have their place. I would be more confident with Ultra Corruptor instead of Ultra Hydra, but sure. 6 Ultras in production. Oh my god, he's pushing it. Oh my god! MaxPax, calm down! Pushing into the concave. Respect the lunkers, papi. Respect them. They're terrifying. And we'll see if Reynor can brute force his way through. Meanwhile, Mothership towards the left-hand side. There is a Spire. My apologies. If he made a Spire that I missed. Oh, yeah, there we go. We have Spire upgrades on the way. He's getting +1 air carapace. Finally. Let's go. He's getting +1. But again, he's had a large bank for a long time. My criticism is he could have been working on those upgrades a lot sooner when the Tempests were first revealed. And Reynor, he intentionally delayed that. He avoided it, I should say. Meanwhile, recoil into the natural. Yeah, recoils in until it's getting top of the Ultra Cavern. The tech is under fire. The Ultra Cavern, the Evo Chambers, the Hydra Den as well. And Reynor is getting pulled apart. As you mentioned before, again, like the map control that Reynor once had isn't there anymore. It's not there anymore. He had a big advantage for a long time, but alas, it has been, or has since fallen by the wayside. Reynor trying to collapse in. There's a recoil out of there. MaxPax gets out. Again, Reynor's in a lot of trouble here. Suddenly, MaxPax is the player with a bank. MaxPax, he has a 3k 2k bank. And Reynor, he's burning through his gas. He's burning through his gas. Now, he can still make this army work, don't get me wrong. But it doesn't feel like Reynor has as much longevity here. He's getting into more spellcasters. Neural's being researched. Here we go, trying to set up a surround. Ultras, they collapse in. Decent Fungal. Yeah, Fungal's going to be going up. They collapse on the army. But the Hydras, they melt. The Hydras melt. GG gets called. There's no anti-air. And MaxPax ties up the series 1-1. Whew. GG, well played. Again, Reynor had a very strong start to the game. When Reynor was denying bases time and time again, it was a very, very strong start for him. But if you remember, there was a certain period, there was a certain pivotal moment. It was not necessarily when the Tempest arrived, but when MaxPax got up to like 6 Tempests, at a certain point, it's like, Papi, where's the Spire? Like, where's the Spire? Where are the upgrades? Where's the transition? Reynor, he's still committed and he tried to brute force it. It did feel like overconfidence, I'll be honest. And that's something that does happen with Reynor quite a bit. That's why he has a lot of fans as well, right? Like, the cockiness of Reynor is definitely like an attribute or is a feature of his character. So, again, the confidence is definitely a thing that can sometimes hurt him instead of helping him. And it did seem like he was just trying to brute force the issue. He felt like he was ahead, and he was ahead, but ahead enough to kind of fight inefficiently in a way. Economy and to tech up. To gain a better economy, to tech up from there. Alas, that was not quite the route of Reynor, but here we go. We're getting into the ace match. In the bottom left, we have MaxPax for Sidestorm. In the top right, we have Reynor for Basilisk. Let's go. We do end up here in our ace match. And once again, I do feel like the map is a big factor as to which kind of styles are viable and which kind of approach is a little bit stronger here. Now, something that we mentioned and something that was a big factor on King's Cove, as a bit of a PSA, the biggest factor on King's Cove that we were talking about at the start and was influential is how difficult it is to hold on to the fourth. Very difficult to hold on to the fourth base on King's Cove. I mean, if you remember, we saw that from Reynor as well, where Reynor also lost his fourth base at the start of the game when he was trying to go into Mutaplay. Here on Ultralove, very different. Here, the bases are much more defendable. Your third, your fourth, your fifth base as well. We do often see a lot of split map late game on Ultralove as a result, but there is a give and take. In the modern era of StarCraft, usually if a map is very defendable, there is kind of something that goes against it. For this map, it is the rush distance by ground. So yes, on the one hand, it is very defendable on 3, 4, 5 bases. On Ultralove, a lot of choke points, a lot of ramps, a lot of points of elevation, a lot of narrow bridges. But because of the short rush distance, we have seen Zerg players end the game early and go for like 2 base all-ins or 3 base all-ins. So we'll see how Reynor approaches this. Does he go for an all-in? Does he try to end the game early with like a German taxi or a Queen Walker across the map? Or does he kind of accept some of the features of the map itself and play a little bit more later game instead? We'll see. We shall see. From the side of MaxPax, I expect standard play. I expect like Stargate opener into an Oracle into a third. To be fair, last game at MaxPax, he was a little bit more decisive by going for a charge instead of blink. He was very successful with it when it came to killing the fourth. But we'll see. As there is that Stargate opener for MaxPax. We'll see how this story ends. Rain had the spy for the whole match. You're right. I do apologize. Right, it was the muted start, which I had forgotten. But it wasn't about, as I did mention during the cast, and if you heard, I was talking about how despite the advantage that Reynor had, he should have been working on those upgrades to get ready for a Corruptor switch and a Corruptor transition. Right, that was the criticism coming there. To set up for that kind of late game scenario, which clearly Reynor wasn't setting up for. But that was the purpose of that criticism. If you remember, it was at the very end of the game where Reynor, he started plus on the air carapace, or flyer carapace, if you recall, but that was at the very end. Like that. Like at that point, it was too late. At that point, it was too late. As the Oracle does move out. Going to be zoned away from the main. So far, so good. Reynor is keeping up. Does deflect. It defends his main. Defends his third. And really for Reynor, my eyes are going to be on his tech of choice, on his saturation. One drone kill. Nicely done. But we'll see if he does end up saturating his third. Now, heavily he does as well. Likewise, we have MaxPax going to be opening up Twilight Council into Forge, or I guess I should say following up with the Twilight Council into Forge. Should be plus on and blink. As I mentioned, standard play here at a MaxPax. So he does get one drone, gets a worker, gets a stasis stuff. Nice reaction here out of Reynor. So far, he is keeping up. Still happily droning. No early tech yet, no early gases. And there it is. We have a safety Roach Warren from Reynor. Safety Roach Warren, standard timing with the Evo Chamber as well. This may be +1 range. We'll see what he does end up taking into. So far, Reynor is keeping up. At the same time, Lings, they get across the map. Nothing at home to defend. Oracle's out of position. Adepts are out of position. And oh my god, the entire middle line's going to be going down. 8 probes will fall. Yeah, we saw something quite similar in game 1, if you recall. 8 probe kills. Very nicely done here by Reynor. Does cripple the economy. Adepts threaten to shade towards the natural. But last Reynor, he's all over this. He's keeping up, and he's setting up for an attempted surround. Have their Oracles. Their Oracles to defend. As you mentioned, because of the more standard Evo Chamber timing, did scream +1 range, so +1 range is on the way. This does look like the beginning here of Roach Hydra. More prioritization of getting to Hydra tech. Lair is on the way. Lings, once again, they do hit the third. There is a defensive warp in this time, but no shield battery. Uh-oh, no shield battery. Stalkers are going down. Blink is not done. 2 Stalker kills, brutal losses here for MaxPax. At the same time, Reynor overextends, will lose a Queen. And it looks like we have a splash damage of choice. This time, MaxPax, he's not working, he's not taking into Colossus, or any kind of that splash damage, working towards Storm instead with the Temple Archives. I mean, didn't go to Colossus last game anyway. So he's getting in towards Storm. Lair is now done. And we'll see if Reynor does throw down the Hydrogen or if he embraces Roach Tech. There it is. Infestation Mist on the way, working towards Hive, working towards a higher form of tech, most likely Lurker. So Reynor is taking up. He's not going for an all-in. He's droning, getting a 4th base, taking his gases. We're gearing up towards a later game state. We are gearing up. On the side of MaxPax, likewise, he should be soon taking his 4th. Yep, speaking of, there it is. 4th base is now on the way. Getting his 4th base, getting to Storm, +2. And we'll see if MaxPax can make use of this Storm timing. Basically, the dynamic that we're seeing here is that MaxPax, he's going to have Storm before Lurkers really reach their final form. So before Lurker Tech, MaxPax can strike. Otherwise, the game is going to be slowed down. Oh, I say that. We do have Overlord Speed on the way. MaxPax being more defensive. Storm is done, but he's staying back at home. Getting into +2. Very nice blinks. Very nice movement with the Stalkers. Catching at the Lings. But Reynor, he's cutting workers at 73. He's cutting workers at under 4 base saturation. Overlord Speed tells us that he might just send it across the map and send out his Overlords as well. Yeah, he's getting ready. Yeah, Reynor, he's going to max out. So very, very committed here by Reynor. Basically, Reynor, he's not investing into any further upgrades, no further tech, no Vipers, for example. Here come those Overlords. Again, when we notice Overlord Speed did scream this move to spread creep and to commit to an all-in. Here we go. And we'll see if Reynor can break the 4th. Pushing into Storm's not going to be easy. Oh, Stasis goes off, does take down most of the Queens. Rocks are being knocked down. Brutal Storm on the Lings. Yeah, Lings are trying to force out some of those Storms. Lurker's getting in position. They open up the Rocks. Zealot run by across the map. The gateways are under fire. The gateways are slowly going down. MaxPax is trying to buy time. He has a fleet beacon, but he can't get into Sky Toss. Not yet. At the same time, Zealots, they do hit the base on the right-hand side. Drones are going down. 5, 6 drone kills are Zealots towards the left as well. Delaying reinforcements. But the base is going to fall. Yeah, Lurkers, they have control of the high ground. Mothership's on the way. Tempest production has begun, but it might just be too late. As Reynor, his goal here is to kill MaxPax before it can really get into Sky Toss. See here, no Hive Tech for Reynor. Infestation Bit's on the way. The Lair Tech Lunkers, Pappy. Let's go. Does rotate. Looking for another way in. From here, MaxPax gonna be stuck on 3 bases. I mean, we've been here before. We'll see if Reynor can close it out as Tempest production has begun. Hive is on the way. Lurkers, they rotate. God, that's still a lot of Storms. That's a lot of High Templar. Lings, they're trying to come in from behind. Oh, they didn't quite get on top of the Storms. With the High Templar, I mean. Lurkers pushing in. Nice slow zone on the army. We're just trying to dive on forward here, forcing out more Storms. But there are Storms for days. As Queens have arrived, Reynor trying to force the issue, takes some massive Storms to the face. But he is zoning MaxPax away from his own natural. Yeah, MaxPax is just stuck at the 3rd. The natural has been broken. Reynor, he slips in. Getting into the mineral line. And he's just pulling MaxPax apart. There's a recall. Let's force a recall. Here on the Hydras. Lurkers pushing forward. Behind this, Hive is almost done for Reynor. Getting into the Hive. MaxPax did get a ninja base on the bottom right. And I believe Reynor has not scouted. I believe he is unaware. Now MaxPax is split. Oh, is he checking? He might be. Let's go. Yeah, he does check, does confirm. The 4th base has been mining. but not for too much longer. As Reynor, he should be able to shut it down. It gets behind the mineral line. We'll bring down the Nexus. At Templar getting caught out. And Reynor, he's busting in. The Tempest count is slowly building up, but unlike the previous game, because MaxPax is losing his bases, because losing his economy, I don't think it's as imperative for Reynor to get ready for any kind of greater tech into like Corruptors or anything like that. Here, Hydras are still very much so viable. As the natural is going to fall. Well, the ship coming in from behind. Doing what it can. Reynor, he backs up. He's content with his damage. Remember, he killed the 4th, killed the natural. Now he's going the backup with the 5th base here on the right hand side. No mining. And ideally, Reynor would even want to fight in the bottom right hand corner of the map as well. Trying to catch the army a little bit more exposed. Reynor reinforcing. Remaxing, pushing in once again. Now I believe MaxPax up to 6 Tempest. Now going to carry production. There's a Spire for it. Let's go! Spire's on the way. This lets us know that Reynor, he is thinking about Corruptors. It's on the mind. So this time he is taking up. He is taking up and he is getting ready here to transition, if need be, out of just purely Lurker Hydra tech. Now, MaxPax does save the bottom right expansion. True. Does save it. Did save a lot of his workers as well. Meanwhile, Reynor setting up some Dropper Lords. Looking to go for a Dune drop into the main. Maybe Reynor feels not very confident about playing versus Sky just late game since the patch. Not at all. I do apologize if I wasn't able to express myself well in the last game, but it did look a lot more like overconfidence in the sense that Reynor, because he was ahead, he felt like he could end the game. That's more of what it was in the last game, at least from my perspective. From my understanding, the reason why he wasn't like getting into any higher Corruptor-based army or anything like that in game 2 was because he believed he didn't need to. Obviously, towards the end, it was very clear that he did, but... From here, going for the Doom Drop. Again, +1 air flyer carapace on the way. Getting on top of the production. He gets on top of the ramp as well, and MaxPax, he cannot push into this. Yeah, not like this. The Tempest can chip away at the army, but there are plenty of queens, plenty of transfuse. One queen goes down, production is falling. The Stargates, the Fleet Beacon, yeah, it's all going down. And MaxPax is just being torn apart. The main is falling, 15 probe kills as well. MaxPax does save bottom right. And from here, Reynor can eventually just get the hell out of here. And here we go, 13 Corruptors on the way. Let's go! The Corruptors are coming! They're coming back. From here, Reynor, he pulls out. And gets the hell out of there. Snipes one final Tempest towards the end. And now we can regroup. Remax, 17 Corruptors in production. And his next goal should be to take down bottom right. Now, supply-wise, MaxPax, he has quite a comparable army. True, he does have a comparable army. What he doesn't have, though, is an economy. So ideally, Reynor, he wants to trade. He wants to, again, trade with the army, pick up a couple units here and there, even if it costs him, even if it's an inefficient trade, he can remax and rebuild. MaxPax cannot. The main survived? That's crazy. The main base lived. Reynor, he does dive on the main army, takes down the carriers, the Tempest as well. And 2 carriers do fall. And again, not the cleanest of dives from Reynor, but it doesn't need to be. Doesn't need to be. As there are no Stargates, they're being rebuilt. Lurker's just zoning away the army. Ling drop into the main. And once again, Reynor just making his way into the natural. Again, just zoning MaxPax out of his own bases. They're doing what they can. They're holding their own. Meanwhile, 12 workers going to be going down. Main base is going to fall. Natural as well. And MaxPax, he's stuck on 2 bases. Stuck on 2 bases now. As a reminder, again, MaxPax, his main army is still quite terrifying. But he has no fleet beacon. The fleet beacon is still being rebuilt, so he can't replenish those Tempest or carriers. Not yet. He's getting there. As he cleans up what little is left here in the main, and the natural dives in. Gets another Tempest. 2 Tempests left. Soon to be 4. From here, Reynor is going to back up. He's going to rotate. Again, pushing up this ramp into the 3rd base is very difficult. So Reynor backs up. Looking for another way in. Hoping to catch the army out of position. Ooh, pushing this wall stack defense, it's not, likewise not going to be any easier here for Reynor. But if he can knock down those rocks though. Slowly laying siege. Viper coming in with the yoink. Gets 1 Tempest. 1 Tempest goes down. Going for the carrier. Doesn't quite get it. Dropped as they take a lot of hits. Take a lot of damage. And again, pushing into a turtling Protoss like this, it's gonna take some time. It's not gonna be easy. Nice round on High Templar. High Templar survives. But again, we mentioned before, that is one of the features here of the map of Ultralove, is how defendable these fringe bases are. But Reynor is slowly gaining ground. And he's just kind of brute forcing his way through. Getting into the expansion. As Tempest, they do barely hold on. A lot of Corruptors go down, but the base will fall. And that's what matters here. The expansion will go down, and MaxPax is down to 1 base. 1 base mining. Again, the code beam is a little bit real here for MaxPax. He's trying to hold on. It's like, I don't hear no bell. Like, I got him on the ropes. True. He's got him. As Lurkers are pushing in towards the kind of last bastion of hope here in the production, some of the Stargate, the Cybercore as well. As MaxPax will lose another Tempest, down to 1. There's 1 Tempest, 1 carrier, another carrier does arrive. Building up whatever he can. Turn it off, dude. Look away. Ah, no. MaxPax even getting supply blocked. Trying to make more Tempest. But again, as you mentioned, it's just very difficult to kill on Ultralove. Like, very difficult to push into this. That's why the supply advantage. So Reynor is rotating. At this point, he should have enough to just even take storms to the face and break through at least the air army. So Reynor rotates, takes another storm to the face. Again, pushing up these ramps is brutal. Once again, force back, slow zone, zoning him away. Nice feedback here on the Viper. And GG gets called. Eventually, over time, the Spirit gets broken. And Reynor will take the series 2-1, taking down MaxPax. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. Reynor does take it here. Shout out to MaxPax, of course, for forcing the ace match. You could definitely argue that it could have been a 2-0 in favor of Reynor. Like King's Cove, Reynor had a massive lead, a massive advantage, but it did slip through his fingers. Again, a bit of overconfidence out of Reynor did allow MaxPax to recover and to bounce back in that game, really showing the tenacity of MaxPax, and that same tenacity was shown in Game 3 as well, where MaxPax was fighting to the last, to his last breath. Did the same thing, of course, in Game 2 as well, but in Game 2 he was able to recover. Alas, here in Game 3 he was not able to establish a fourth base again. He was not able to build up his economy and maintain himself. GG, well played. He was torn apart. And with that, we're getting into our next series here. We're getting into our final best of 3 of the night. Up next is going to be a best of 3 between Skillous and Rogue. Let's go. Let us go. One base Protoss versus 6 base Zerg. To be honest, it could go either. True. Look, we've seen scenarios like that play out before. Unironically, it's happened. It's happened. But here we go. With that, we are going to be going on a short break. When we come back, we'll have the final best of 3 of this broadcast. As a reminder, we are going to be getting into another broadcast after this. We're going to be going into the Firegrow Cup Group B, but that'll be in a couple of hours. I think that's in 2 hours. Let me just double check that. It is... yeah, in 2 hours time. In 2 hours time, we are going to be live at the Firegrow Cup. Depending on how long this final series takes, we might just leave the stream on. Oh, actually, no, never mind. We do have to have a delay for the Firegrow Cup, so we'll have a second broadcast after this one. Until then, though, we're going to be going on that break, and we'll be back soon with our next and final best of 3. See you after the break. are back. We are back with the final best of 3, the final matchup here of the night of Coliseum 8, Group B, day number 1. We just wrapped up with Reynor versus MaxPax. Now we are here with another PvZ with Skillous versus Rogue. Whew. Let us go. We have our PvZ matchup. This is going to be a rematch. We have seen both Skillous and Rogue go back and forth over the past couple of weeks. Rogue did recently 2-0 Skillous. Skillous before that took him down 2-1. A lot of this was in online weekly tournaments in Lima leagues, and we'll see. We'll see who's able to take it here in this final best of 3. Let's go. Likewise, Skillous, for those who missed out on the qualifiers, did qualify by taking down Solar in those global qualifiers. We'll see if we can take down Rogue. As spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have Skillous for Team Liquid. And in the top right, we have Rogue for Team Falcons. Let us go. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. Best of luck in the chat, as this could go either way. We have seen them go back and forth, and I'm ready. I'm excited. Gibbs, baby, Gibbs. Apparently, Ligilac does say 51% in favor of Rogue. Oh, just barely, just over 50%, which means basically 50-50. So there you go. So best of luck in the chat, as we are going to be settling in. And something that we have noticed about Rogue's play as of the past couple of weeks is that it has been very mid-game oriented. Very mid-game oriented when it comes to going to 3-base aggression, when it comes to laying a Bane Hydra or rushing into Lurker Tech as well. That is typically the kind of route that Rogue has been taking in this matchup. We'll see how Skillous does respond. Skillous has been a little bit more adventurous, is what I will say. We have seen Skillous flex and whip out some Clem builds from time to time. He did let us know that he did end up taking some of that to actually qualify for the main event. I was able to use it to bring down Solar. So my eyes are going to be on Skillous here to see if he has taken anything else from Clem as well. Ooh, as already, 2-gate opener. Let's go. 2-gate opener out of Skillous, 2-gate opener into Double Adept, into a more aggressive start from our Protoss player. Interesting. With this, he can go Double Adept. He could commit into a 3rd and 4th Adept as well. So we'll see how hard Skillous does embrace those gateways. How aggressive he is. He either wins or he doesn't. True. Crazy. Crazy, papi. Ay, pecoeta. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Bienvenidos. Bienvenidos. As we have our, again, double gate open into Double Adept, as we did mention. Again, I'm most curious to see if he does commit into additional Adepts or not, as he will soon move out across the map, apply pressure, and threaten the bases of Rogue. Behind this is that Stargate follow-up, so Stargate into Oracle, I would imagine. We'll see if he does open up Void Ray instead. Shading out with the Adepts. I do love the movement here, trying to keep Rogue guessing whether or not the Adepts even shade across the map. The reason why he hid the Adepts from the Overlord was to hide whether or not the shade would even complete. So nice mind games there out of Skillous. Meanwhile, the Adepts, they are spotted by the Overlord. And he is forcing out a plethora of Lings here from Rogue. So already just doing inadvertent damage. A lot of these Lings, they could have been drones. They should have been drones, but forced to make Lings because the Adept harass. Rogue had to invest, trying to chase down the Adepts. And Skillous looks like he should make it back home. I say that's going to be close. Oh my god. Does shade. Avoids the surround. Gets caught towards the end. And barely will shade. Whew. You know, a bit of a misrally there from Rogue. One Adept goes down. So will the other. Decent pickoffs. The Oracle will arrive. Ooh. And the Oracle has to be used defensively back at home instead. Is going to be kept back. And now we can settle in. Behind the Skills, going for the Forge, going for the Twilight Council. This does look like +1 in Blink. So standard follow-up. It's going to be that standard follow-up here that we do typically expect. We'll see if he goes for an extra gateway explosion. For now, just shading across the map. Getting into the mineral line. Gets 3 drones. 3 drones going to be going down. Stasis trap on the right-hand side. So far, good reactions out of Rogue. He's keeping up. I believe that's going to be a 6-gate setup on 3 bases from Skillous. From what I can see. On 6 gates. Extra gas is on the way here for Rogue. Looks like Ling Hydra here, as we have no big investment into Roaches from the side of Rogue. Potentially Mutaplay, true. We'll see what he goes for. Skillous is keeping up. Upgrades soon to kick in. Still waiting for that lair. And waiting for that tech. And there it is. We have the answer. It is not a Spire. It is going to be the Hydra Den here from Rogue. So we're getting into Hydra Tech, into Lurker Tech. I mean, we mentioned this at the start of the game, how this has been the go-to for Rogue. Just really mid-game oriented, going to Hydra Lurker play. Well, he does more often than not. So here the game will settle down. Skillous likewise is going to be taking up as well. I was waiting to see if he was going to throw down extra gateways, but he didn't. Just now extra gates are being thrown down, but he's taking at the same time. He's taking into Charge, into Temple Archives. This will be for Storm, which means Skillous should be looking for a 4th. Is somewhat being active, but has yet to expand. Can be poking in. Meanwhile, Rogue Infestation Bit, that tells us he's working towards the Hive and Lurkers. Again, just taking up into Lurker Tech. That is Rogue's goal for the Lunkers. Nice trades here from Skillous. Shaves off the Lings. He's getting up to 8 gates on 3 bases. Has taken his gases. There we go. 4th base now on the way. So Skillous is expanding. He's trading well. Shaving off with the Lings. Getting on top of the Hydras. Does pick off 1 Hydra. He's getting there. He pokes him once again. Shaving with more Hydras. 24 Lings in production. Skillous, he will soon have to pull out, though. How good are the stasis going to be? I mean, the control is good. More Hydras falling. Lurker Den is halfway done. And can Rogue defend without those Lurkers? So far, nice pickups. And very crisp control here out of Skillous. Trading very efficiently. Black White Screen's going to be going down. And Rogue, he's in trouble. Here come the Charge Lots. And here comes Storm as well. Suddenly, this pressure, this aggression that Skillous has been flexing, it's about to get that much more serious. 11 workers going to be falling. Here come the Storms, and there's no answer. There's no good answer to the Storms. Where are the Lurkers? 2 Lurkers in production. Storm's going to be zoning away. And the 2 Lurkers, I'm not sure it's going to be enough. Stasis goes off. 1 Lurker gets denied. The 2nd Lurker does pop out. It's going to be focused down. Yeah, 0 Lurkers here, and Rogue, he's being broken. Skillous dives in. GG gets called, and Skillous will take game number 1. Whew. GG. Again, very nice control here out of Skillous. It's every now and then... Oh, look, the coffee pappy, let's go. But it's every now and then. The skills that we just saw is very reminiscent of the skills that we saw against MaxPax when he took the game. When he took the game on Was it on King's Cove? Yeah, on King's Cove. Where Skillous, his control was insane. Likewise here against Rogue as well. I want to say that Skillous, in the lead up to the eventual Storm, the Storm follow-up, I want to say that Skillous, he maybe lost like 2 Stalkers. Like, he barely lost any units. There, just really clean control, really clean execution of the build to be able to shave off Lings, get on top of the Hydras, and again, snowball out of control once the High Templar arrived behind it. It was all about that lead up, all about setting up for that kind of killing blow. Alas, Rogue, his win condition was Lurkers, but he didn't get there. He barely did not get there in time. We saw there were 2 Lurkers morphing in towards the end, but they got focused down, they got targeted, and Rogue just needed a little bit more time. He needed a little bit more time to morph in those Lurkers. You could argue that if he realized that he was being overwhelmed, he should have evacuated the expansion, just given up on the base, just to buy time for more Lurkers, because once he gets like 4 Lurkers up and running, he defends. He defends, he holds, he forces back the Protoss army, but alas, barely did not get there. Barely did not get there with that. GG, well played, very nicely done here by Skillous, and now we're getting into game number 2. It's going to be on Abyssal Reef. Here we go. Going to be getting into Abyssal Reef here. A much larger map is what I will say. Much larger map, much more defendable, and I would imagine that we're going to be going for a different approach here instead. As in the top left-hand corner, we have Skillous for Team Liquid. In the bottom right, we have Rogue for Team Falcons. Here we go. Once again, welcome one and all to Abyssal Reef for the first time tonight, actually. For the first time tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Abyssal Reef, again, is the 2nd largest map in the map pool. 2nd largest map. A lot of bases can be taken. A lot of bases, a lot of expansions. Likewise, the 4 and 5 base setup are very defendable on this map. So we often see a lot of late game. We often see a lot of late game here on Abyssal Reef. I'm not really too fond of the idea of Skillous going for the same style here. Referring to going for just a really, really committed 3-base play. If you remember, something that I was pointing out as well was the fact that he had gotten up to 8 gateways. He had teched, but he had not gotten into a 4th. It's a really unique style that Skillous went for. I actually wouldn't be surprised if... I wonder if that was a Clem build. I'm curious. I think it was similar to what he did against Solar. But again, just very aggressive, very committed, very late 4th. Here, I'm less certain he can get away with that sort of thing. But we'll see. Skillous is setting up. When it comes to Rogue here on Abyssal Reef, I do favor his style a little bit more. The idea of a Zerg player trying to be more defensive and be more, in a sense, kind of more passive and taking up into Lurker tech. I feel like that is something you can get away with here on Abyssal. A little bit easier than on other maps. But we'll see. We shall see. Go. So now we do have our Stargate, our initial take of choice from Skillous. So Stargate into Oracle into a 3rd. We'll see if he does deviate and go for a Void Ray, for example, but it should just be an Oracle opener. Yeah, there we go. Oracle's on the way. A couple of Lings, they do slip into the natural. And it's going to be on Skillous to control and not lose any probes. Some of them get low. He does maintain himself. So far, so good. Skillous, he gets across the map. And very nicely done back at home. Shading into the main, getting behind the mineral line. He gets one. It's one drone kill, trades well against the Lings. Does focus them down. Shades the hell out of there, but alas, won't make it back home. Skillous is cleaned up. Skillous still securing himself. Will soon take a third. There's the NG overcharge. Skillous, he has plenty to defend. And it's just settling in. Lings, sure they harass, but again, the Oracle has plenty of Venji. Lings, they can try to break into the natural, but alas, they are deflected as well. Once again, just keeping those oracles back at home. This is allowing Rogue to drone up, and without losing any workers. Happily droning, throwing down spores, building up more queens. Rogue can settle in. And there's that standard follow-up Forge and a Twilight Council plus on and Blink. So far everything's looking as it should here from the side of Skillous. Likewise with Rogue as well. In a couple of seconds we should be seeing a safety Roach Warren. But I mean, you could argue getting away with skipping it here on Abyssal Reef. You could just skip it and just go straight Ling Hydra instead. And so far it looks like that's the case here for Rogue. As we should be seeing a Roach Warren by now, and there is none. Oh, there it is. Roach Warren now gets placed. Again, at a reasonable time. Ideally, you don't want to make any Roaches, but it's going to be there just in case Skillous were to go for an all-in. So it does have that safety Roach Warren. So we get the double Oracle into the main. Finally, they get across the map. 5 drones already. Oh my god. Very nice damage. 5 drones go down. Oracles, they get out. We have a third Oracle hitting the natural. And Rogue having a harder time keeping up. Stasis is going to be going up. He does pull away in time, thankfully. Does pull away. Skillous throwing down extra gateways, getting up to, I believe, a 4-gate setup. Oh, no, my apologies. Getting up to a 6-gate setup. Okay. 6 gateways. Oh, okay. 6 gateways to secure himself, and now he's rushing into Skytoss. Bold move here by Skillous, but I do like this on Abyssal Reef. Something, if you remember, that I was emphasizing previously leading into this game is that I do like the idea of Rogue going into Ling Hydra, into rushing to Hive Tech and Lurkers on Abyssal, just because it's much more defendable. I mean, the same kind of thought process is applicable to Skillous, where this is a good map to take up. Meanwhile, the surround, oh my god, the surround is brutal. 3 Stalkers go down. But in general, players that want to try to take up and cut corners, they can do so on this map. So possibly peeking. Now, I'm curious if this is just for the beginning of Skytoss or just for a fast mothership. I have been hearing murmurings here, especially in the European ladder, that there is a build where you can just go for a mothership rush with a ground army and achieve quite a lot of success with it. There it is, motherships on the way, and so far, no second Stargate. That's what's important here. No second Stargate. Charge +2. It is just single mothership with a ground army, with a gateway army instead. So I'm excited. Again, I've heard about this build. I haven't been able to cast it, I don't think. I think maybe I saw it once, maybe. But even then, I wasn't too sure if that's what it was. So I'm here for it. Let's go. Specifically, I heard about it from Lambo. Lambo, he was talking about how there was like a mothership rush build that was kind of plaguing the European ladder that a lot of Zerg players were struggling with. And again, the mothership is just there as a supportive unit, with recall, with cloak, with its attack, of course, as well. Meanwhile, nice snipe here on the Oracle. He's holding his own. Skillous is still looking for a way in. So far, still being denied. Storm is on the way behind this. Rogue trying to collapse in first round. He gets supply blocked. Yeah, brutal supply block here for Rogue. 4 Overlords on the way. Skillous, she does get off the ramp, does get away, does escape the Lings. And I believe the mothership is coming in to join the forces, to join the main army. No Storm yet, but here comes the mothership. Let's go. Has arrived. And we'll see what Skillous can get done with it. Again, the slow zone is going to be kind of a big power play that he can go for to zone away the ground army. Likewise, the cloak as well has potential. Army gets spotted. Skillous pushing into a concave. There's the cloak. Yeah, cloak gets activated. Thankfully, there is detection. There's a slow zone as well. High Templar is exposed. Does survive. Whew. And Storm is done. Storm is done. Skillous getting his fourth base up and running. Nice concave out of Rogue. Again, the Overseer is just ready in time. Meanwhile, the Storms are not spent. Skillous getting behind the mineral line. Snipes the gas. And there we go. Carrier production has begun. We have 2 more Stargates on the way and carriers. Skillous does have a recall available. So if need be, he can recall back home. Massive link counterattack. Stasis goes off. Nicely done. Lings, they do get a strand here on the cannon, but the Oracles, they race back to defend. And so does the main army. The main army does turn around. And now we're calming things down, and now we are embracing that late game, that Sky Toss. Double Stargates, +1 air attack, mass carrier on the way for Skillous. Likewise, Rogue throws down the Spire, and is also getting ready for his own Corruptors. So again, from Hydra, Lurker, Viper into Corruptor. It's getting there. Let's take a lot of Spine Shields to the face. Decent chunk of Stalkers go down. Skill's going to be rotating. Skill's he is maxed out. Rogue trying to keep up. Building up his Lurker count. As we mentioned, the win condition, the goal here typically for Rogue is to build up a death pool of a Lurker army. He's getting there. Let's say across the map. Nice hold position micro. The control. He saves the tank. Sorry, he saves the cannon, meant to say. Does save the cannon. That defensive warp in. 16 drones going to be going down across. Oh my god! I believe those does a run by towards the center base. Now we have some storms. Rogue, his economy is being crippled. Thankfully, has a high drone count. Again, 20 worker kills is insane. I think the observer was looking for the drone damage. It was at the center base, I believe. Yeah, the one on the left. On the left. It's fine. It's fine. These carriers are reinforcing across the map. In this space, I mean. You can see why the hatchery is low. Like, I believe there was a solid run right here. That's also why the Roach Warren is low as well. As Rogue is being active, going for a counterattack, will deny the 5th. Skillous out of position. Expansion is going to be cancelled. Nice pickup. Skillous pushing forward. Yoink here on the carrier. Despite the inductions, not enough anti-air. Yeah, the carriers, they just chill. He just takes the spore shots to the face, doesn't even care. The spores are going down, the carriers survive, and Skillous, he's snowballing out of control. He's breaking through. Again, he took down Rogue not too long ago. I believe in the Lima League. Now he's here doing it again. Takes down the mineral line. There are Zealots in the main. Massive warp in. Storms on the Hydras. Yeah, the storms are brutal. GG gets called, and Skillous will take the 2-0. GG. Whew. GG. Well, oh, let's go. He's vibing, Pat. He's vibing. GG, well played. Skillous. Nikita does take it. Very well done. Very nicely played. Again, with a much more unique build here in game number 2. Skillous going for the early mothership, maintaining himself. And what's important is the Skillous, he was trading so very efficiently against the army of Rogue. for the majority of that game, Skillous did have a maintained supply lead. Rogue, meanwhile, his goal, of course, was to try to build up a lurker count. Did have a lot of lurkers, but very limited anti-air. Very limited anti-air, and Skillous was able to make use of that initial fleet beacon to get into Skytoss. And as we saw, even though we had some abductions, it's no anti-air. There was barely any Hydras, there was barely any Spores, barely any Queens. Rogue was just being pulled apart left and right by the Zealot run-bys as well. It was happening off camera, but there was Zealots in the main, there was Zealots at the 5th base earlier as well. Skillous was on fire, and Skillous does take it. GG. GG, well played. Whew. And with that, that is going to wrap up our first day of Group B. Here we go. And so far, we have MaxPax with a win, Reynor with a win, and Skillous with a win as well. But Rogue only played 1 match. Rogue is going to be playing 2 more matches tomorrow. Quickly checking the Liquipedia page here, exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys wish to have a look at the bracket yourselves. Let us catch on up. But I believe up next tomorrow is going to be MaxPax versus Rogue in another PvZ, alongside Reynor versus Rogue as well in a ZvZ. So Rogue, he has 2 matches against MaxPax and against Reynor, and Reynor has another match against Skillous. Oh boy. Oh boy, so a lot of Zerg matchups there. So Rogue versus MaxPax, Reynor versus Skillous, and Reynor versus Rogue. Oh boy. So 3 more matches to come. Again, that is going to be in 24 hours. Same start time as this stream tomorrow. So we have more matches to come. Otherwise, when it comes to the remainder of the night here, we have an hour and a half. I mean, I have to bring the stream down anyway. If you are unsatiated, if you want some more StarCraft here tonight, then we are not done. We're going to be back in an hour and a half with the Firegrow Cup Group B. The Firegrow Cup is a European CIS region focused event. Last night we casted Group A, and tonight we'll be casting Group B. We're going to be featuring players like Young Yakov, like Wayne, like Nickrecht, like Milky Cow, UED Soldier, and Rostock. Those are the players that we are going to be featuring on the channel. So if you're interested, if you want some more StarCraft, we got you covered again in just under 2 hours time. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow for the rest of Group B of Massive Coliseum. As you can see, currently Rogue at the standings. Yep, you can see here are the matchups. Here are the matchups in order as well. Again, it's going to be Rogue versus MaxPax, Reynor versus Skillous, and then Reynor versus Rogue at the end of the night. 3 best of 3s. The ultimate PvZ. Here we go. The circle of SC2, the circle of life, papi. Oh my god. Doesn't look remotely close in the end. The mustache gives you wings. Again, I do recommend checking out the VODs of the qualifiers for Masters Coliseum, or just in general, like, I don't know, just like search up Skillous on the CranKy Ducklings. But Skillous has been looking really good recently. He has been improving, he has been leveling up. But with that does conclude our broadcast for the night, and for the time being, and we'll see you in a couple of hours with our next broadcast. See you soon.
最近半年 ，ZVP 56-3给自己点一个赞，冠军。
I don't think Cyril has any chance to save this one, but he continues.
It gets killed coming back, and Bunny just doesn't seem to have the numbers.
给了个这。
Didn't even notice the Liberator in the main base, I think. So many probes are going down right now.
Oh my god, they're trying to get back, but they can't, and so many are picked up. A big clump here from Carey. Tries to split everything up.
Giant force of Fadelings. We're only getting clearing the hell. That's massive. Come! Cyril did it all, and he is a well-deserving champion.